Okay, welcome everyone. So my name is Tiago Costa, and we're going to talk a little bit about certification and training roadmap for Azure Apps and Infrastructure. So today's world is a world that is highly connected. I think that everyone here, more than the general public, understands that. So we come from a system that we have customers, we have other organizations, partners, collaborators, and so on, that they work more and more and more together than it used to be a couple of years ago, or 3, 4, 5 years ago. This basically makes that certifications also need to change so that reflect that change in society and that change in the IT industry. So this is why Microsoft basically changed the roles for role-based learning certifications, because usually in the past, Microsoft used to have product-based certifications. So that means that we had a certification on SQL Server, a certification on Windows Server, System Center, etc., and it was product-based. But today, as we know, when we are doing a job, and let's imagine that I'm an IT administrator in an organization, I work with more than one product. I work with several products, and this is more and more a reality today. Also, if you see jobs that we have today, we didn't have those jobs like 5 years ago. If you come to me and said 5 years ago that we're going to have, like, for example, a data scientist job or something like that, I would say, hey, just forget it, okay? You just imagine things, okay? That was quite a vision to have that, let's face it, okay? Most people will tell you, nah, that's not going to happen, okay? So, that changed today, and we have what? This will demand us IT professionals, to more and more grow our skills and capabilities. It also makes that positions in IT professionals in a change agent method. So basically, we can really influentiate companies to change how they work. We can influentiate companies basically to be better and more attractive to investors and to be working better so that they are more productive, and basically we get an advance to our competitors. Also, creates new requirements, okay, for our customers and our partners. And also, as me as an IT professional, if I have a certification, it also builds a little bit my confidence in myself, in my ability to do that work and doing that work in a very good and proper way. Because I don't know about you, but one of the things that I love when I take a certification is that makes me work and learn new topics that usually I'm not used to work, certain technologies that I'm not used to work with, because I'm so focused in doing my work that I can't touch everything that I have on a certification. And I train people, and sometimes they come and they say to me, hey, look, this was like great because I touch in technology A, B, or C that I never used them. I knew that they existed, but I never used them. But now they're so good because I have like 2 or 3 projects in my company that this could be awesome to use. And I was not aware of how they work, so I was not working with those technologies. So with all of this, how does Microsoft build the new certifications? So basically, there is a process that's called a GTA, so a job task analysis. And the idea is Microsoft gets input from market researchers and then identifies some job roles that they feel that, well, we should invest and we should create because we have basically products that will work with this kind of job role. So let's do a certification on topic X. Let's imagine like Azure Administrator. Then of course, they collect and they meet with a lot of subject matter experts, and those subject matter experts, they will create an output over there. That output, we call it an objective domain, which is basically a list with items and sub-items, okay, of things that, well, a person that is an Azure administrator needs to know. Like for example, he needs to create virtual machines, he needs to work with networking, he needs to create load balancers, a traffic manager, etc. All that list of skills, then basically Microsoft will build a set of learning experiences. And today, we basically have around 4 different kinds of learning experiences for this. So digital skilling, like for example, if you see those contents that you can find on Microsoft Learn, for example. We can also have events like here today, okay, where we can learn so much. And I'm sure that everyone went to sessions and you were not able to went to all the sessions that you would like, correct? I didn't, okay, so I have like a huge backlog of sessions to watch when I get home. And also traditional instructor-led training, classroom training, and of course, okay, certifications. So basically those aligned learning experiences that we have, so there you go, like digital skilling, we have the events, the classroom, and the certifications here. When it comes to classroom, for example, or for example, an event like this, or learning through Microsoft Learn, they're all very good opportunities for everyone to learn. But what Microsoft wants to do is they give you like all the possibilities, and then you will choose the one that matches better with your profile. Because not everyone learns in the same way and at the same pace. There are people that they love to learn by video learning. They basically watch videos and they love that. They works pretty well for others. I have other people that come to me and say, I can't do that because I'm watching a video and my mind just goes to somewhere else and I can't focus on that. There are others that they really need instructor-led training. Others, they just read a book, like those certification books that we have, the exam prep books, and they learn a lot by that. So not everyone is the same person, has the same profile. So with this, of course, Microsoft wants to have all the possibilities. And then we have the certification that basically will validate, okay, our skills. So when we talk about certifications in terms of Azure Apps and Infrastructures, we have currently 3 big levels when it comes to certifications. We have the fundamentals level. What is the fundamentals level? It's basically for IT professionals that are really getting started with that technology, or professionals that they are not from the IT world, but they also need to have something around that, basically that technology, that role. I can just give you an example. For example, the certification that we have for Azure Fundamentals. You just have to do 1 exam. If you're working with Azure, it's a very, let's just say, easy certification for you to get. But I was teaching that the other day for people that they were sales managers. Just sales managers. They need to sell Azure projects. They were a consulting company. They need to sell Azure projects, but they don't know Azure. They are never going to work with Azure like we do or some of you do. Okay, they are just sales managers. That's not their goal, that's not their job. But of course they need to know a little bit about the technology, how that works, etc. So this is those certifications levels, like the fundamentals. Then we have what? Role-based certifications that gives you the technology, the tech skills for you to do a certain job. So it's for us, IT professionals. I'm guessing that most of you here in the audience will be IT professionals. And then, of course, we still now have a new level that we call a specialty level. Specialty levels are not job role related, so they are not role-based, but you have to have deep technical skills in a specific topic. Okay, so putting this in a graph, basically what we have is this. So we have Azure training and certifications. So as you can see over there, I have on the bottom my fundamentals level. Okay, so I have basically my Azure fundamental certification. Then when I go to my associate level, I have my Azure administrator, my Azure developer, and the security engineer. As you can see, they are really role-based, okay? People that do security, a professional that does development on Azure, does administration on Azure. On top of that, still on the role-based certifications, what I have is the expert, okay, the expert level. And on the expert level, usually I have 2 certifications. One is the Azure DevOps Engineer, and the other one that basically goes from the Azure apps and also the data and AI is the Azure Solutions Architect. Because when we talk about an Azure Solutions Architect, it will be a professional that needs to have knowledge and experience when it comes to an Azure administration, development, but also on the data and on the AI part that runs on top of Azure. So that role is a very broad role that that professional needs to have. So this is what we have, but now, and in this Microsoft Ignite, we just announced one new certification, which is on the specialty level and is the Azure for SAP workloads. So I'm sure that everyone here knows that Microsoft is doing a huge investment with SAP so that your companies basically will run SAP workloads on top of Azure. And this certification is really for those kinds of professionals that are dealing on bringing SAP to run on Azure. So as you can see, this is really, really a deep certification when it comes to that technology. So it's not only Azure, but is also what is also SAP. So you need to understand a little bit of SAP. This is a certification that was just announced here on Ignite, so all the exams are still in beta. Okay, so you can take it with discount because it's a beta exam, and then you can provide also feedback so that Microsoft can improve that certification. If we put out there all this in a diagram, okay, I always like this representation. So because this is like our learning path that I have for certain professionals. As you can see here, I have there the fundamentals on the left, which is a starting point. And if you're like brand new to Azure, I really recommend you, hey, go for that certification. We'll learn a lot and it will give you a very good base and you get ready for new things that are coming then. And then on the associate level, I can choose if I want a role of an Azure administrator or if I want a role of an Azure developer or even a security administrator. You're really going to be dependent on, hey, what are you doing in your company? What do you want to achieve? Because if you're a developer, probably not going to do Azure administration, correct? And vice versa. Then I can still go for an expert. And in here, I have the Azure DevOps Engineer Expert. This certification is just one exam like all the other ones that I already talked about. But you have to have another certification. It's the only certification in this diagram, okay, that has a prereq. The prereq is you have to have an Azure Administrator Associate certification or an Azure Developer Associate. You don't need to have both. Just one will be enough. So imagine, I'm an administrator in Azure. I take the Azure Administrator, then I take the exam to be an Azure DevOps, and because I had the prereq, I get the certification. If you just take that exam for the Azure DevOps and you do not have a previous certification, you don't get anything, okay? So you still have to go back and take the other one. I can also go for the Solutions Architect Expert there on the bottom. Like I said, it's a very deep certification, it's a very broad certification. Because of that, we don't have just one exam for that certification. You have two exams to achieve the Solutions Architect Expert. It's called the AZ300 and the 301. Being the first exam, the 300, a technical exam, so it's really hands-on, let's do stuff. And the 301 will be an exam that is more on the design level, on the architect level. How can I design this? Okay, it's not so much, let's do that. Okay, it's more what a job of an architect will be, okay, in the wild, let's just say that. And then of course we have here on the right the specialty, like our Microsoft Certified Azure for SAP workloads. So the brand new certification that we brought here to Ignite when it comes to Azure. How do you prep for a certification? So that's like one of all the questions that I always get from a lot of people, and I also had a lot of people here in Ignite coming to me and ask me, how should I prep for certification X, Y, or Z? Well, first of all, if you go to docs.microsoft.com/learn certifications, you get all the certifications there. You choose the certification that you want. Then you see, oh, what many exams it is. Oh, it's just one, okay? You have the exam there. Then you click on the exam. When you click on the exam, you're going to the exam page. On the exam page, you're going to have basically a PDF that you can download that comes with all the object domain that you're going to be tested on the exam. So you read all that, and then of course, usually what I do is I basically take people and just build a learning plan for you. What will be working better for you? Go to a classroom, take an ILT training with a Microsoft certified trainer, or watch videos, or start to learn through Microsoft Learn. But establish some goals, like today I'm going to do this, tomorrow I'm going to do that, I'm going to learn that. Okay, so build your learning plan. And then, okay, we also have practice tasks. So there is also official practice tasks from Azure Up that you can go, and you can also take, they're like demo questions. Of course, they are not the question of the exams, okay? Yeah, sorry. But you learn a lot by doing those questions. Sometimes you don't know the answer, investigate, go learn about it. Don't see the solution right away. Okay, start to check, what's this? And then go for the Microsoft documentation. Do it, open the Azure portal. Okay, you will learn a lot by doing so. Some tips and tricks that I always give to my students. Analyze the exam objective domain, like I was telling you. Choose your learning methods, your learning materials that you're going to use. You can use a mix, okay? I'm going for a classroom, then I'm also going to cover on top of this by using some video-based learning, okay? All of that is good. Set small goals to learn. Today I'm learning this, tomorrow I'm going to learn something else, okay? And then practice using the practice test that I told you about. Then breathe, okay? Relax, and take the exam, okay? Some people are super nervous when they're taking the exams. Look, I don't go also relaxed to do exams, to be totally honest. I also feel some nervous, but it makes part of us. We don't like to fail, we are humans. But if you are able to succeed at the first try on the exam, look, that's not the end of the world. You can always try again. Okay, so you just try again, just take the exam again, and that was also a learning opportunity for you to see, oh, this is the structure of the exam. Oh, okay, next time that you go there, you're more relaxed, you're more comfortable, okay, with the exam. When it takes for the exam, manage wisely your time. Currently on the Microsoft exams, we have an experience that we call performance-based labs. So this means that Microsoft exams currently, they are not only questions. All the role-based certifications, they have real labs. So you have an Azure portal, and then they're going to ask you, do something. And you have to click in doing something, or you have to create a PowerShell script to do that, or you have to do bash, or you have pieces of code that you have to finish, something like that. So that takes time. And you can lose a lot of time on that. This is why I always put this here. Manage your time, okay, your time wisely. So basically to take action. So you know that for attending Microsoft Ignite, you have a free exam after Ignite. Okay, so if you go to that website that you have over there, you can also scan the QR code if you want. It's aka.ms/free-exam_MS Ignite. You go there and you can get your Microsoft exam. You have all the instructions are there, how to schedule your exam after Ignite. You have 6 months where you can take your free exam. So if you even have a free exam, how awesome this is, huh? Yes? It's great, right? So with this, basically some take action here. You can also visit the certification and training booth area if you have some more questions. I'm also going to be here in the end. So if you have questions, you can also come to me. I will try to answer all of them. And don't forget your free exam. If you want my advice, choose a certification and schedule the exam today, just after our session here. Then when you get home, you start to build your learning plan. Because when you have an exam scheduled, you have an objective. That's the day. I'm going to take the exam on that day. If you don't schedule the exam, you're always postponing. And I'm generalizing here, I know, but that happens a lot, right? Okay, so prepare with free practice tests. Also on the learning area, you have free practice tests. You can go there and you can start to do them right away. Okay, you can also explore some other Microsoft certifications. Okay, then we also have here some exam prep sessions, which is kind of redundant because most of them, let's be honest, they already went. Okay, but you can also watch them online after Ignite. So we also have those sessions over there that you can also see them. Okay, thank you very much.